The chandeliers sparkled above a room full of expectant faces, but all I could feel was the icy weight of my father's gaze. Marcus Thorne raised his glass, and the hush that followed was more suffocating than applause. I stood near the back, a ghost in a borrowed dress, as his words cut through the air, mocking my choices, my life, my very existence. Every heartbeat was defiance, every breath a quiet rebellion. And yet beneath the glittering horror of this night, a secret waited, one that would change everything. Just as I reached for the massive oak door to escape the suffocating spectacle of my father's celebration, a quiet voice stopped me. "Avery, wait." I turned and saw Arthur Finch, our family lawyer for decades, slipping through the crowd with a face full of pained sympathy. In his hand was a thick manila envelope sealed with burgundy wax, my mother's elegant initials pressed into it. My heart stuttered. I didn't know if I was ready, but I had to take it. He pressed it into my numb hands, whispering, "She knew this day would come. She prepared for it 20 years ago." And just as quickly as he appeared, he melted back into the swirl of champagne and chatter. I stood frozen, clutching the envelope like a lifeline to a mother I had lost too soon. My mother had been gone for 20 years, taken by cancer, when I was just 14. Yet somehow, across 2 decades, she was reaching out from beyond the grave. I sank into my old car, shutting the engine off and letting the sounds of my own humiliation reverberate in the quiet. My hands shook as I broke the seal, and the first line of her looping, elegant handwriting made my throat tighten. "My dearest Avery," it began, "if you are reading this, it means your father has finally shown his true nature to the world, and you need to know the truth about why I really died." I had to read it 3 times before the words settled. I didn't die from cancer. The cancer was real, yes, but it had been induced. Slowly, methodically, by your father. The world tilted on its axis, and my hands went numb, the letter slipping into my lap. I didn't read another word. My disbelief was a tangible weight, a mixture of horror and a searing clarity. Everything I had suffered, every sneer, every insult, every humiliation, now had a name, a reason. And with that, a surge of resolve flared within me. This was no longer about surviving their cruelty. It was about confronting it, exposing it, and reclaiming the life that had been stolen. My mother's final act, her foresight and love had handed me a weapon, more potent than anger the truth. 3 weeks before that nightmare of a party, I was kneeling in rich, dark soil, helping a group of 5th graders plant a tomato garden in a vacant lot in the Bronx. Their school had no funding for fresh food, and my nonprofit Urban Roots was creating a small oasis of growth and possibility. A little girl named Maria held up a wriggling worm with wide-eyed horror and delight, and I couldn't help but laugh along with her. That was who I was. That was the life I had chosen. I started with a modest trust fund my mother left me, just $80,000, but every garden, every seed planted, every fundraiser and sleepless day was mine, built with my own hands and determination. In the dirt, I found freedom, purpose, and connection. It was a stark contrast to the world my father and brothers inhabited, the gilded cage of ambition, cruelty, and performative success. Leo and Julian thrived on power and wealth, molded by Marcus' ruthless hand, while I thrived on growth and nurturing. Choosing substance over spectacle, I was building something real, tangible and life-giving, and every bloom reminded me of why I had rejected the life my family had envisioned for me. In those moments covered in soil and sunlight, I knew I had found the compass my father could never give me, a moral and purposeful life rooted in care, resilience, and the joy of seeing others flourish. The morning after the party, the weight of my mother's letters still pressing on my chest, another courier arrived. This one carried a thick legal envelope from my father's new team, a cease and desist forbidding me from using the Thorne name in any professional capacity, as if I had ever needed it. Hidden within was also an eviction notice. Marcus had bought the Bronx lot, the heart of the garden I'd built for the children, and we had 72 hours to vacate. His cruelty wasn't content with disowning me. He wanted to erase everything I had created, salt the earth beneath my hands. My mind flickered back to the countless injustices of my upbringing. The boarding school after my mother's funeral, the absent presence at my graduation, the cold dismissal of my choices. Family duty had never been mutual. It had always been a weapon wielded to control and shame. And yet, somewhere in the echo of those old penthouse walls, I felt a quiet defiance inherited from my mother. Each letter, each legal threat only sharpened my resolve. I would not crumble. I would not retreat. His attempts to bury me under fear and humiliation became the tinder for a fire I didn't yet fully understand. Every insult, every calculated attack reminded me that my worth was defined not by their approval, but by the life I chose to build with my own hands. The legacy of care and integrity my mother had instilled, and the truth I was now determined to reveal. Monday morning arrived gray and drizzling, the city's streets slick and reflective as if mourning alongside me. Arthur met me at his dusty, book-lined law office, the weight of decades of loyalty and secrets hanging in the air between us. From there, we went to the bank, descending into a vault that felt colder, sterner, and more silent than any courtroom. The steel doors swallowed us in a metallic hush, and Arthur's key clicked into the lock with a gravity that made my stomach tighten. I signed the ledger, each stroke of the pen echoing in the empty space, a ritual that felt both ceremonial and sinister. With a second key, the bank officer opened box 729, revealing an array of meticulously organized folders, each labeled in my mother's precise handwriting. The first folder contained the original code for a predictive trading algorithm, written in my grandfather's elegant hand and deliberately paired with my father's clumsy forgeries, a testament to the theft that had built Thorne Capital. But the real shock was a small silver USB drive nestled in the corner, unassuming yet heavy with consequence. Arthur handed me a pair of headphones. "Your mother wanted you to hear this," he said, voice steady but tinged with reverence. Trembling, I slid them on and played the file marked March 3rd, 2004. Marcus's voice filled my ears, casual, cold, commanding, discussing the precise dosage of poison for my mother, with a doctor ensuring her death while avoiding suspicion. My hands shook uncontrollably, bile rising, a gasp escaping my throat. The betrayal, the premeditation, the years of lies, it was all laid bare. And yet, there was a path forward. Arthur had already contacted Diana Riley, an SEC agent who had pursued Marcus for insider trading years ago. Now, with this evidence, she agreed to meet us immediately. The personal grief, the anger, the raw injustice coalesced into a focused resolve. This was no longer just about mourning or humiliation. It was about strategy, about reclaiming what had been stolen and delivering justice for the life my mother had lost. Every beat of my heart, every shuddering breath fueled a meticulous plan The suffering of the past 2 decades became the blueprint for action, and I realized with a surge of clarity that my mother had not only prepared me emotionally, but had laid the literal and figurative tools to confront the man who had tried to destroy everything she loved. Friday arrived with an electric hum, a storm gathering in the clouds above the New York Stock Exchange, as if echoing the tension in my chest. The trading floor buzzed with the manic energy of greed and ambition, the air thick with anticipation. My father stood on the balcony, flanked by Leo and Julian, poised to ring the opening bell, the ultimate symbol of his triumph. Every tailored face in the room reflected the same smug confidence that had haunted me for decades. I stepped onto the floor with Arthur Agent Riley and 6 federal agents. My steps deliberate, measured the weight of truth, grounding me in ways fear never could. His eyes found mine, first annoyance flickering to confusion, a rare crack in the mask he had perfected over 40 years. The crowd stirred murmurs spreading like a wave, curiosity mingling with unease. Leo's voice cut sharply through the chatter. "What in God's name are you doing here?" I ignored him, focusing on the balcony. My pulse thrummed in my ears, but my voice remained calm, absolute, carrying across the room. "Before you ring that bell, Dad, your investors should know. Thorne Capital is built on stolen technology and murder." Marcus laughed, dismissive, the bark I had known my entire life, trying to mask his disbelief. But I held up my phone, already connected to the exchange's powerful sound system. His voice, captured in the recordings, filled the hall, casual, cold, discussing how he had deliberately poisoned my mother. Horror spread through the crowd like wildfire, disbelief cracking across the faces of investors, journalists, and board members alike. Marcus shouted, claiming it was fabricated, but his voice betrayed him, cracked under the weight of his own guilt. Agent Riley stepped forward, badge raised high, declaring, "Marcus Thorne, you are under arrest for the murder of Eleanor Ellsworth Thorne and federal securities fraud. You have the right to remain silent." As they cuffed him, he lunged toward me, pure hatred in his eyes. I met it calmly, my voice steady, every syllable a reckoning. "You destroyed everything when you killed her. I'm just settling the account." In that instant, the years of humiliation, of cruelty, of stolen innocence fell away. I stood on the balcony not as the girl he sought to shame, but as the daughter who had reclaimed the narrative, the truth echoing in every stunned, silent gaze before us. The months after Marcus's arrest were surreal, a strange blend of quiet satisfaction and relentless activity. Thorne Capital collapsed almost overnight. Its assets seized, the empire built on lies and cruelty evaporated. Leo and Julian, stripped of their fortunes and arrogance, were forced to confront a reality they had never known. Amid the chaos, I focused on something enduring, something my mother would have cherished, the Eleanor Ellsworth Foundation. With her secret inheritance, I began transforming urban spaces into thriving gardens and community farms, spreading life where neglect had long reigned. Each new plot, each child who discovered the thrill of planting a seed and watching it grow reminded me of why I had endured so much. Months in Leo appeared in my office, humbled, unrecognizable, without his tailored suits and smug posture. "I need a job," he admitted. Quietly, eyes averted. Anything he said. Slowly, painfully, I taught him the value of honest work, of earning trust and respect, instead of inheriting power. Watching him labor in the dirt, Learning patience and responsibility was its own quiet redemption. Across 50 cities, the foundation blossomed, funding community gardens, school farms, and urban agriculture initiatives, feeding thousands and teaching self-sufficiency. Each harvest was a victory not just over Marcus, but over the idea that cruelty and greed could dictate life's outcomes. The foundation became a living legacy, a testament to resilience, compassion, and the power of purposeful action. With every plot we cultivated, every child we empowered, I felt the healing of old wounds and the satisfaction of turning inherited injustice into something profoundly positive. In the end, the triumph over cruelty was not measured in punishment alone, but in the life and hope we nurtured a legacy far richer than any fortune Marcus had tried to hoard, proving that what is built with love and integrity can endure and inspire far beyond the reach of vengeance. From the shadow of humiliation to the clarity of purpose, Avery's journey reminds us that true worth isn't measured by wealth or approval, but by the lives we touch and the integrity we uphold. Choosing compassion and meaningful action over vengeance transforms pain into power. If her story resonates, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a comment with your own reflections, and remember, the strength to build, to nurture, and to rise always begins with the choices we make for ourselves.